Have you ever noticed the incredible degree of dread, uncertainty, anxiety, terror about an upcoming event? You are waiting, you're ruminating, it's all you can think about, and you are spiraling on what if, worst case scenarios. Now, if this is you, you're not alone, and I know it can be so overwhelming. And what's so interesting is when the event actually happens, we realize it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. Has this happened to you? Because the truth is, this is actually really, really common. Sometimes the hardest part about these events isn't the event itself. It's the actual anticipation of that. So by the end of this episode, what I want to promise you is that you will know what anticipatory anxiety is and why it is often so much worse than the thing itself. Welcome. My name is Kimberley Quinlan. I am an anxiety and OCD therapist, and I am on a mission to help 10 million of you to help suffer less with anxiety. I feel like the one thing I can really do is to speak a little louder than all of the internet craziness that you're hearing about these quick fixes and solve it right now. I want to give you actual effective skills that have been proven by research to help you manage your day-to-day anxiety. So let's get into it. What is anticipatory anxiety? Anticipatory anxiety is an intense fear or uncertainty. It can also be dread that shows up before the event or before the trigger. And so what this means is something is going to happen. It has created anxiety for you. And until that event happens, you spend a lot of your time. In many cases, people say they spend their entire day and much of the evening worrying about this event, worrying about how it will go, what could or could not happen, how they will cope. Will it be as bad as they think it is? This is what it's like to have anticipatory anxiety. Now, anticipatory anxiety can show up in many areas. It could be before a social event. It might be before a doctor's appointment. It could be anticipation of a difficult conversation. It might be of a flight if you're afraid of flying. It might be even the fear of sending a simple text message may create an immense degree of anticipatory anxiety. And if you're someone who's experiencing this, I want you to remember there's nothing wrong with you. I don't want you to feel bad because you struggle in these areas. We all have different degrees of anticipatory anxiety about different things. Now, the other thing to remember is it shows up in different ways. Some people with a lot of anticipatory anxiety, they might ruminate about catastrophization. They might ruminate about the worst case scenario, whereas others ruminate about how they're going to handle it. They're strategizing. What will I do if that happens? How could I avoid it? What will I say? How could I handle it? So there are many ways in which we can try to manage our anticipatory anxiety. But my goal today is to teach you what is going on so that you can change the way you respond. So if you've been thinking, why am I so upset about this event? It hasn't even happened yet. You're totally not alone. And so what I want us to do is I want us to work through this together. I hope that you can leave these episodes feeling like you're fully equipped and we've given you exact examples. So as always on Your Anxiety Toolkit, I want to put this in practice. I want this to be as specific to you as possible. So I want you to think about something that you are anticipating. It could be anything. It might be anticipating turning this episode off and going and cleaning your bathroom. It could be the big event, the big talk you have to do at work. It could be a test. It doesn't matter. I just want you to bring to mind something that you're anticipating. And as always, these episodes, I want to make them as specific to you as possible. I want you to bring to mind the specific way in which this concept applies to you. So I want you to get out your journal and I want you to think about something you are anticipating. It could be an event, it could be a conversation, it could be a presentation you have to give or a test. It doesn't matter. I just want you to bring to mind an event you're anticipating. Write it down at the top of the page. Now we're going to go through some of the reasons why. And you, as we go, can start to jot down specific points that apply to you. Now, the first reason we struggle with anticipatory anxiety is that uncertainty is the fuel behind fear. Anytime things are uncertain, our brain is going to get lit up. It's going to start to go, wait a second, bad things might happen. And now what I want to do is try to predict all of those potential bad things. It's going to start to think, what if I mess up? What if I can't handle it? What if something goes wrong? Now, the gentle truth here is your brain is just trying to protect you. This is your brain's job. You might be thinking, why does my brain keep coming up with these worst case scenarios? Because this is what's kept us alive all these years. Our brain is simply trying to list off all of the potential, maybe, probably could happen things. That's its job. So when we wrote down the thing that you're anticipating, it makes sense. Let's say the thing you're writing down is like a doctor's appointment, a doctor's visit. It makes sense that your brain is going to want to prepare you for potential problems. It's going to say it could be this thing, it could be that. What will you say? How will you handle it? Who will you call? That's your brain's natural way of handling anything that is uncertain. Now, second of all, then your brain often gets caught thinking or responding to thoughts as if they are real. So let's break it down. You're preparing to go to the doctor's visit. We know based on point number 1 that your brain's going to tell you all of the potential what ifs. And then the next piece is your brain is going to mistakenly think that just because you thought these things, they must be true in a high likelihood. We know that folks with anxiety, they tend to overanalyze or overestimate. We know with anxiety, they tend to overestimate the risk. That's why things feel a lot more scary for us. So what happens here is when we interpret our thoughts as real, our body is then going to trigger off an increased heart rate, muscle tension, maybe you start to sweat, you're going to have tension, you're going to have a lot of overwhelmed thoughts. This is just like your brain pulling that fire alarm. It's your brain saying, danger, danger, now's the time to go into action. That's what your brain is doing. Now, the third piece is then your brain is going to rehearse the worst on repeat. Think of it. It's pulled the lever. It's saying, danger, danger, urgency, urgency. Like the alarm has been pulled. And you know when you see in the movies those alarms that are like, doot, 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 or they're like, please exit the building, please exit the building. And they say it over and over again. It was just recently that I went to this event. It was this gorgeous event at this gorgeous hotel right on the beach. And somebody pulled the fire alarm. And so we're all sitting there trying to listen to this presentation. And over the speaker is, please exit the building, please exit the building, please. And it just keeps saying it. Now, this is what your brain does too. When it thinks there's an actual danger, it's going to consistently tell you scary things. And when this happens, you are often going to attend to it, respond to it, overthink, ruminate, do mental checking, do mental replaying, go through every last potential scenario on how it might play out. Then what we know it does is it moves into avoidance and control mechanisms. It starts to plan out how you are going to survive. Again, the event hasn't even happened yet, but yet your brain is already, even if it's months in advance, your brain is already starting to think about the ways in which you may exit. Now, recently I signed up for a half marathon. I know, I'm as shocked as you are. But what was so funny is I signed up at 10 p.m. at night. It was actually one of my former employees. He texted me and he said, hey, you always said we would do a marathon together and no take backsies. And so I agreed. I signed up that evening because I'd make a promise. And then the next morning, my brain started to come up with all of the ways in which I could plan to avoid it. I was like, well, maybe something might happen to my parents. It's coming up with even other catastrophes to help me avoid the thing I'm anticipating. It's ridiculous how our brain does this. So what I want you to note down here is just get curious about the ways that your brain starts to avoid and control and try to get back a sense of control over the event. Now, in this situation, your brain is learning this must be dangerous. We must avoid it. Now, there are many subtle forms of avoidance: over-preparing, reassurance seeking, procrastinating, repetitively checking or planning. These behaviors, they are temporary. They do take away the discomfort in that moment, but they only reinforce the fear in the long term. We move now on to number 5. This is the last one, which is by this point, we are exhausted. We haven't even gotten to the event. Think of me. This marathon isn't till May of next year, but I could already feel myself in April starting to do these behaviors because I'm scared and it's uncertain and I have no idea how this is going to go. When we do all these behaviors, we end up being completely burnt out. We have emotional fatigue, we have cognitive fatigue, we're irritable, we have difficulty focusing, and we're so focused on this date in the future that we're unable to be present in this actual moment. So again, by the time the event arrives, we're completely wiped out. So let's now recap what we've learned. Anticipatory anxiety happens when our brain treats an imagined danger as if it's real. It's driven by uncertainty, not an actual threat. And our mind and our brain create a whole story that grows stronger over time. And the more we catastrophize, the more anxiety and anticipatory anxiety we have about this event, because we're actually giving our attention to catastrophic thinking. And when we give attention to catastrophic thinking, we are driving our anxiety levels up. We often, in that case as well, just like me, is we start to engage in avoidant and control strategies. And this actually reinforces our fear and creates more anticipatory anxiety. And last of all, we get left feeling absolutely exhausted. So here's what I want you to take away. Everything we talk about on this podcast is about the skills. We've talked about them over and over again. They're mindfulness, they're being present, they're being willing, they're allowing thoughts to be there and not engaging in them. But of all of those things that I have taught you, please go back and listen to previous episodes. Of all of the things I've taught you, the one thing I want you to take away is the intensity of your anticipation is not a reliable predictor of how the event will go. I've actually spent time with clients spending months in anticipatory anxiety. And then the event came and they were like, I have literally no idea why I freaked myself out so much. But now we know. We've explained it in this episode. Now, this is just a reflection of you having a normal human brain that's trying really hard to protect you. Our goal is, instead of trying to eliminate and remove that uncertainty and anxiety, we're going to practice allowing it to be there with patience and compassion and sitting with it and still engaging in the things that we value. We're with our friends, we're with our loved ones, we're with our work and the things that we love to do. Now, what we're going to do, as always, is we're just going to do this one step at a time. That is how we improve on anything. That's how we master any skill. One step at a time, one day at a time. Try not to focus on the future event. Just focus on being willing to be uncomfortable in this moment. So when you're noticing this anticipatory anxiety in the future, I want you to just notice it rising and see if you can just pause, put your hand on your heart and say, okay, this is my mind. This is what my mind does. It's just trying to help me. It's just trying to prepare me, but I don't need to solve this right now. And then gently bring your attention back to this present moment. Now, thank you so much for being here. I am so thrilled to have you be here with me on my mission. If there's anyone you think that this episode could help, please do share it with them. It'll help me meet my mission faster, which will make me so happy. And as always, today is a beautiful day to do hard things. I'll see you in the next episode.